Hi you guys! So I'm back today re-recording my video on self-tanner, how to do it, all the products I recommend and what I don't recommend, and all my tips and tricks learned from years of trial and error experimenting on myself. So I'm so sorry this video is a little bit delayed by my technical difficulties, but we're back, we're gonna do it, and tanning is one of my favorite topics, so let's just dive straight in. I do want to give a disclaimer first, which is that every single shade of skin tone on this whole planet is gorgeous, and there's no need to change your natural skin tone. I'm not saying I don't like my natural skin tone. I'm naturally definitely on the fair side, but I also enjoy having a golden goddessy glow. So whatever works for you is what you should do. It doesn't matter what anybody else likes or recommends or anything. It's all about you and how you feel best in your own skin. You guys know my beauty philosophy. I have a whole video on it. I'll link it. Like, go to that if you want to know where I stand. But everything I'm recommending is just only if you feel the need to tan. No obligation, nothing else to it. So I just want to get that out there. All right, let's dive into the actual products. So I've been self-tanning for years and years and years. And I feel like these are kind of the three most tried and true products on the market that everybody talks about. The Saint Tropez, the Loving Tan, and TANCEUTICALS. And I'm gonna rank them in order of my favorites and tell you all about each product. So my third favorite is the Saint Tropez. This one will give you a great tan. This is what I started with. It's very beginner friendly. It's very accessible because you can just like walk into Sephora and buy it. The other two previously, I think you had to order online, although now Loving Tan should be starting to be carried in Ulta, which is exciting. But this has been in Sephora for as long as I can remember, and you just walk in and you can buy it, so it's accessible. Like I said, it's very beginner friendly and it's easy to use, so it gets points for that. I'm gonna rank each of these on kind of the top issues with self-tanner. So the other big issue with self-tanner is smell. This doesn't smell great. I don't think it smells that bad personally. Like, I certainly wouldn't wear it around for the day. I wouldn't like go work out with the tanner on. Or go run errands or anything, but as you'll see when I get to the steps, I recommend tanning at night. You know, nobody's gonna smell you except for whoever you're possibly sleeping with, and my husband doesn't seem to notice that there's a smell to self-tanner, so take that as you will. But this one to me doesn't smell that bad. It also definitely doesn't smell good. It's just not that bad. It will rub off on your sheets. That's the biggest thing I'm gonna take points off for. It washes right out, like just on a normal wash cycle, but it will stain your sheets. Like, it will kind of look like a massacre occurred in your bed. So that's a huge problem. And also this will transfer onto whoever you're cuddling with. Like, my poor husband has definitely gotten like one tan leg because my Saint Tropez rubbed off on him. So those are huge downsides, but it does give a beautiful tan, very natural color. Like I said, it's very easy to apply, very beginner friendly. All these products I'm gonna talk about are mousses. Mousses, in my opinion, are the best and easiest formula to use. So easy to get like a streak-free application with these. This one is empty. Let me see if I can get any out to try and show you the color. But it does have a color guide, which is a huge factor. Oh, I still have a good little pump left. So let's try to kind of compare the colors as we go. This has a bit of an olive tone, honestly almost a green undertone, which doesn't sound flattering, but it really is. Very pretty tanner. What else do I want to say about this? And then it has a color guide. So they all have that, which is something that as you put it on, you'll see it'll look darker where you put it so you can tell where it is. And then that part washes off the next morning, but the true tan develops over time and comes out. So this has a color guide, so it gets points for that. My second favorite is the TANCEUTICALS. This one's also a mousse. I have this one in the shade dark and I have this one in the shade classic. The cool thing about TANCEUTICALS is that it's like skincare built into a tanner. So I'm all about skincare, you guys know that. Anytime I can do something good for my skin, that's a huge win in my book. So I love that. This has argan oil, it has pomegranate extract, acai berry, it has some really good stuff. And the fact that it's like boosting my skin makes me so happy to use it. It also smells good, really good, like too good. In my opinion, it smells like, what are they trying to cover up? It's almost, can you imagine if I accidentally dabbed my nose into this? It's very coconutty. It doesn't smell bad, but it just something about it makes me suspicious. I don't know, maybe because I know tanner doesn't really smell good. So that is the Saint Tropez on the left, and that is the TANCEUTICALS on the right. Is it the same for you? My left and right? I don't know. This isn't a true color. This isn't going to give you a true idea of the color, but as you can tell, like based on the color guide, that's kind of how the tan turns out. And this one's a bit more of a brown undertone. Still on the olive side for sure, but very pretty tan as well. Like I said, it smells good, maybe too good. It's very, very coconutty. The cool thing about it is it won't come off on your sheets at all. Like I have clean white sheets on my bed and they're still clean and white the morning after I use this. So that's very nice, huge plus, doesn't rub off on whoever you cuddle. And that's a really good thing. Also, I forgot to mention with both of these how long they last. I would say this one lasts for me about 4 days, the Saint Tropez, which is good, but not, that's why it's not my absolute favorite. This one, my second favorite, lasts maybe 5 to 6 days for me. The last one, my favorite, is Loving Tan. Loving Tan is just so pretty. Let's just get that out there. It's got this beautiful like gold, rosy pink packaging. I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm not affiliated with any of them. I don't accept PR gifts. I don't do sponsorships on my channel because I just want to give you guys my completely unbiased, 100% honest review on everything all the time. I think it's important for me to spend my own money before I tell you to spend your own money. So none of these were free gifts to me. I just want to get that out there. That said, Loving Tan is my absolute favorite. It's so pretty. It goes on so well, like an absolute dream. Like I said, it's also a mousse. You can see the color is pretty similar to, I just put it on here on top. You can see the color is pretty similar to the TANCEUTICALS. Both are a lot less green than the Saint Tropez. I would actually even say the Loving Tan goes on a little bit reddish. Like there's a red undertone in the color guide and in the tan. The Loving Tan is what I'm wearing right now. I tanned 3 or 4 days ago. So I'm still way, 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 way more tan than I would naturally be. Sorry, my phone just rang. But I tanned maybe 3 or 4 days ago. I'm still way darker than I would naturally be. But you can get an idea for the shade of this Loving Tan. I think it's a really pretty, really natural tan, at least on my skin type. I actually like that it has a slight reddish undertone because I tend to turn, you know, my favorite color is pink, my body's favorite color is pink, like I turn pink all the time. So I just think that this works perfectly on my skin. Like I said, it's a really pretty color. This is not appetizing looking at this point, but the cool thing about Loving Tan is it lasts forever. I feel like I could get 7, 8, 9 days out of this if I push it. I actually don't push it. Like I prefer to tan twice a week if I can. I like to build it into my routine, just make it something I do. It's like a little, honestly, it's like a little self-care ritual for myself. So I just like to maintain an even level of glow and never get to the point where it's like totally faded. Obviously that happens all the time because I'm human, but in best case scenario, I do this at least once or twice a week. Sometimes what I'll do, this is my default and my favorite, but sometimes I'll do this like on Sunday night and this one on like Thursday night. This is the TANCEUTICALS one. And I just feel like they kind of complement each other. It works well. Like I said, the Saint Tropez is pretty much empty now and I don't think I'm going to repurchase it. So take that for what you will. But if you're ever in a pinch and you need to just run into Sephora, this one's great. It's accessible. If you have time to order online, that's how I get these two and I really like them both. So those are my favorite products for tanning my body. This is what I use to tan my face. This is the TANCEUTICALS Self-Tanning Face Lotion. I'm going to use the same disgusting little tanning palette here to show you the one downside, which is that it is white. It does not have a color guide. Unfortunately, I consider that to be a huge fail. It's a huge bummer because you can't tell where you've put it when you're putting it on. I would never tan my whole body without a color guide. Like I don't like to walk on the wild side that way. Obviously, I put lotion on my face morning, afternoon, and night. So I feel like it's pretty easy to know like what I've covered and just kind of get an even layer of tan, even though it doesn't have that color guide, which I really wish it did. But that's okay. This is still a great product. Like I said, TANCEUTICALS products are actually good for your skin. They smell delicious, possibly too delicious, and It just, let's see what it has. It has argan oil and vitamin E. Vitamin E is so amazing for your skin with antioxidants. It can help reduce scarring. So this is something that I don't mind like mixing in basically as a skincare step. My tanner comes off my face real fast because I like to exfoliate nightly. If you've seen my skincare videos, you know I have a 12-step routine that I just enjoy doing, like, because it's the way I unwind. And I like skincare. I really nerd out on skincare. So I do a lot of exfoliation. I do a lot to my face, and needless to say, my tan doesn't last that long. So what I'll do with this is maybe every third night, I'll just mix this in with my nighttime moisturizer, leave it on, and tan. Basically boost my tan on my face. So I might tan my body once, maybe twice a week ideally, and tan my face maybe like 3, maybe even 4 times a week if I'm feeling, you know, zhuzhy. But this is what I use when I do that. Then with all of those products, this is my absolute favorite tanning mitt. The one I was modeling for you on, I think this might be like Ulta brand. It's honestly just like a cheap foam. I don't know if you can tell the difference in quality on these two, but it is literally night and day. I mean, the difference is astounding. This is, I think, like I said, the Ulta, like just their off-brand tanning mitt. It's probably like $5. Then Saint Tropez also has one that in my opinion is like the same exact quality as the Ulta or any other brand. But this one, which is made by my girl Loving Tan, is thebomb.com. It's so amazing. It's so plush. It's velvety. It's thick. It's like, it's not foam or whatever that like cheap material is on all the other ones. Like it's actually sewn, and it's very nice, and it just makes your tan go on like such a dream. I love it so much. I will never go back to another tanning mitt. And like I said, I'm not sponsored, I'm not affiliated, so I don't have any coupon codes for you, but when you're checking out, I always just Google Loving Tan coupon code or discount code, and you can usually find one of these mitts for free. So find a code somewhere in the bowels of the internet and save yourself some money, and this is the best tanning mitt ever. I feel like I've tried them all, so I think I can safely say this one is awesome. Okay, then the other thing I want to talk about product-wise is touching up between tans, because as you can tell by now, I take my glow very seriously. And these are the products I use, like, let's say I'm going out for the evening and I haven't tanned in like 6 days and I feel like I'm starting to lose. Actually, even if I tanned the last night, I would usually touch up with one of these. Let's just be real. So I'll go in order like I did with the other. My third favorite is the Sally Hansen Airbrush Legs. I feel like this is an old school product. Like maybe your mom used this, you know, like it's been around for a while. You can get it, accessibility points, you can get it at like CVS, drugstores, very easy to find. Coverage points, it covers so well. Like this is legitimately makeup for your body. And I say body, they market it for legs, but honestly, you can use this on your whole body like makeup as if you were doing your face. When I got married, I have these bumps on the back of my arms, which by the way, self-tanner really helps to hide. It's called keratosis pilaris. A lot of us have it. If you don't, you're lucky, don't worry about it. But when I got married, I had a strapless, sleeveless dress, and I was so self-conscious about those bumps, and this stuff saved the day because my self-tan wasn't enough to hide them. So I put arm makeup on and you could not see the bumps and it looked beautiful. And then the best part, which I was really scared about, was it didn't rub off on my white dress. So huge points, Sally Hansen. Thank you so much. I just love having a product that can stay that well, and if it passes the white wedding dress test, I think it passes. So that's a great one for just basically covering blemishes. It's a good natural dark tan. The color I have is light glow, but they have a bunch of different shades. Then, why did I just throw that? Maybe because it's actually my first favorite, and I'll talk about my second favorite next. This one is from Victoria's Secret. It's called just Bronze Instant Bronzing Tinted Shimmer Lotion. And this is what I reach for when I just want to feel like a glowy iridescent angel. I don't know if you can see the color. It's very bronzy. It's very shimmery. It's honestly almost like an illuminator because it has such an illumination. So like if you're wearing a skirt or something and your legs are going to be out and you really want, I don't think I put enough on to swatch it, but if you really want to have that glow, that Victoria's Secret glow, this stuff is amazing. I highly recommend it. It doesn't have as much pigmentation as in like, I wouldn't use it to cover anything, but it does add a nice amount of color and, more importantly, a nice glow. So this is a perfect little boost. You can just use it like a body lotion, and then it doesn't seem to rub off on clothes either. And then lastly, this one's by Loving Tan. It's their Bronze Shimmer Luminous Cream. Same idea as this, but with a lot more pigmentation. So this will really help you coast between tans if you are starting to fade. I actually put some on earlier. I don't know if you can see, there's just like a little bit of a sheen to my skin. It's not quite as like sparkly. There aren't actual sparkles, but it's not quite as like iridescent as this one is, but it does have just a little bit of a glimmer, a little bit of a shimmer, and it makes you feel like a little newborn goddess angel floating through the clouds. I don't know. I just really like to have that little boost. I got mine in the dark tone, and this is perfect before a night out or just every day. Why not? Okay, so those are all the products. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the technique. I took some footage, so I'll just insert some B-roll. Ooh, fancy film terms. I'll just insert footage of me actually tanning while we talk about it. But basically here are the steps that I follow and recommend. Like I said, this is all through major trial and error. So I highly recommend, stress, almost would just say it's an absolute must that you have to tan overnight. For a long time, I was trying to tan in the morning and then like go about my day, and that just, I could never make that work for me. Especially if you're a beginner, I just highly, highly, highly recommend, say you must, tan overnight. So here's what you're going to do. The night before, take a shower, but not just any shower, a CSI shower. Like when you're about to commit a crime and you're trying to get rid of all of your DNA evidence, like that's the kind of shower we're talking, like scrubbing, exfoliating, sloughing off all of the dead skin cells in the shower. You don't want to use anything too creamy or too oily that's gonna like be a residue on your skin. Normally, you know, I'm all about moisturization, and I think moisture is key, but not before a tan. So don't use like your shower oils. Don't use even an exfoliator that's got like a thick oil in it. It's better to use like an exfoliating mitt or even just like a rough washcloth. Just really like rough yourself up. Don't hurt yourself, obviously, like we're talking about within limits, but do a really thorough shower, head to toe, exfoliating everything. Because if you have any dry patches or skin that's about to fall off, as like graphic as that is, it's gonna take your tan with it, and then it's not gonna make your tan go on evenly. So we wanna have a smooth canvas for our tanner application. That's the first step. Then when you get out, normally I would say coat yourself head to toe in lotion because, like I said, moisture is key. But in this case, you're only going to wanna moisturize your hands, your elbows, your knees, and your feet. It's like hands, shoulders, knees, and toes. It's just like hands, elbows, knees, and feet. Okay. That was embarrassing. But those are like the key areas you don't want to forget. Those are areas that tend to be dry. They tend to turn orange at a moment's notice. Like, let's just put it all out there. So when you're doing a self tan, you don't want to give yourself away with like orange palms, orange elbows, knees and feet. Like those areas just really can give you away. So coat those in moisture and lotion. It can be any, I just honestly use like a cheap lotion for this because I figure it's gonna be part of the tanning situation and not really last. But you just want to get something on your skin so the tan doesn't soak in, because it'll really grab onto those spots. So once you've moisturized those areas, which by the way, take all your jewelry off, obviously. I like to take this opportunity to clean my wedding ring because I just figure it's a good reminder to do it once a week, keep it nice and sparkly. So I like to drop it into a little thing of jewelry cleaner while I'm doing this. Killing two birds with one stone, being organized, we're all about that. Okay, then once you're all natural, you want to let yourself dry off because you can't have any shower water on you. Like I said, you don't want any lotion in any of the other place. Like you really want to have a clean, dry canvas. So once that's all prepared, like I said, the mitt is an absolute must. Like you have to. This is non-negotiable. If you don't have a mitt, don't tan. Like just don't do it. That's my biggest tip because you will get orange hands, you will get a streaky application, and it just never worked out for me. So I highly recommend you use a mitt. Ideally this one by Loving Tan is the best. Take your mousse, always shake it up because with mousses, sometimes like the pigmentation might come out unevenly when it gets aerated to make the mousse. So you always want to shake it up so you have a nice even glob of tanner here. And I also recommend not skimping on the product. Use several pumps per limb because you really just want to cover the whole surface area. If you're using too small amount of product, you're trying to stretch it too far, you're gonna have like streaks and gaps where the color isn't quite even. So you wanna have a nice generous amount of tanner. In circular motions, coat your whole body. Start one body part at a time. I like to start basically from the bottom up. So I'll do my lower left leg and then my upper left leg and then my lower left foot, my lower foot. I only have lower feet. And then I'll do like my lower right leg, my upper right leg, and my right foot. Feet, like I said, are tricky. It's one of those tricky areas that can kind of get you. So the main thing you want to watch out for with that is not to have, like I just said, you want to have a lot of product on your limbs, but not as much product on those problem areas. So with the feet, I would just use whatever is left on my mitt pretty much and wipe across the top of my foot and my toes. Stay clear from the ankle if you can, because like I said, it'll really grab onto color. And just blend that up into your leg so you don't wind up with like a weird sock tan line. Then just continue moving up your body. You can get the left side of your body front and back, and then switch hands, get the other side of your body front and back. One thing not to be alarmed as you go is that it will look dark going on. And like I said, that's because it has this color guide in it. So it's just letting you see where you've put the product and where you haven't, because the actual tanner itself is clear or white, like this face tanner, and it's going to slowly develop over time, which is another key reason why we're going to do this at night and then go to bed. So you're just looking dark because of the guide, so don't freak out if you don't like the color right away. That's not the true color. Okay, so then just keep doing body part by body part. The back is especially tricky. Luckily, I think us women tend to be a bit more flexible and we can kind of reach our whole back. But you might have to do some crazy numbers where you're like switching hands and shimmying a little bit just to kind of cover every inch. But just do whatever you gotta do, try and get that all covered. Then lastly, after you've done your chest, your torso, your arms, you can get your face. So like I said, I use this every few nights. I like to just mix it in with my regular moisturizer. Honestly, I don't use a mitt. I just wash my hands with soap really, really thoroughly right after I use this. But while you're tanning your whole body, you have your mitt on, you might as well leave it. You can just put some of this on and just sort of gently get your face. Some areas you want to avoid are between the brows and on the upper lip. That can tend to look like there's hair there if you have, like, God forbid, some kind of tanning disaster. So I just don't touch those areas at all. Like, just, you kind of want to just get that sun-kissed glow. Like, think about when you're out, what naturally turns a bit more glowy. Those are the areas you want to hit. You want to blend like crazy, like up into your hairline, into your ears, your neck, everywhere. Because obviously if you were to get a natural tan, it wouldn't randomly stop here unless you're wearing a really weird hat. So just try to think about what happens in the natural sunlight and emulate that. Once you've covered yourself head to toe, you can get your hands. The way I do that, and please proceed with caution on this because it is very delicate. You might not want to worry about it until you're like a little more advanced. But I personally feel like the really fun part about tanning is to have a tan face, tan hands, tan feet, a tan back. I just think some of the harder areas to get are also more rewarding, and that's what makes it fun. Like, tan hands can really make your manicure pop. Same thing with your feet, makes your pedicure pop. It's just more fun. So I don't personally shy away from those danger zones. If you're a true newbie, you might want to wait until you feel a little more comfortable as tanner. But basically when you're ready to tan your hands, you can just put a little squirt on the back of your hand and rub the backs of your hands together, rub the backs of your fingers together, and keep your palms entirely out of the equation because we don't want orange hands. It's a dead giveaway. So keep those clear as much as you can. Just use the backs of your hands on the backs of your hands. It works perfectly. Then you also want to avoid the white glove telltale sign, which is where your tan just kind of stops, like here. So I usually rub the wrist of one hand on the back of the other palm and vice versa. Then once you're all done, the most key thing is you cannot get wet in any way, shape, or form for 8 hours. So that's another reason I say you really shouldn't do this in the morning, because then I would forget and like go and wash dishes a couple hours later and get a big splash on my arm and then have this like really weird reverse birthmark for like a week where the tanner didn't take, like right here. So you really can't risk getting splashed or sweating or showering or anything like that. That's why I say just do it at night. It's just so easy. Unless you're like a really profuse night sweater, it's not gonna be an issue. Just go get your beauty sleep, literally, and when you wake up, the tan will be developed. So then you can just shower it off. When you're showering off, don't be alarmed. You'll see a lot of color washing down the drain, and it can feel a little alarming, like, oh no, there's the tan I just worked so hard for. But it's just the color guide that we talked about, so let it go. It served its purpose, and then the true natural tan will come out afterward, and that is when you get to reap the rewards. Honestly, this whole process only takes maybe like 10 minutes. I know it just took like longer than that to describe it, but it can be a really fast process. You'll get it down to a science the more you experiment with it. And as long as you use like circular motions, a generous amount of product, you shouldn't get any streaking. And just try to be really conscious of where you're putting the product. Like, don't leave a line, you know, like really look at yourself and make sure you're not leaving any obvious demarcation. It should be pretty simple. Okay, my other tips are also, I don't like to shave beforehand. I feel like if I shave right before I tan, then the color kind of collects in those hair follicles that I just exposed, and sometimes you can get little brown dots. So that's just a little word to the wise. You can shave the next morning if you want. Although be aware that shaving and any other exfoliating will make your tan slough off faster. But that said, obviously having smooth skin is a plus as well if you're so inclined to shave. So you can kind of balance how long you want your tan to last and how baby soft you want your legs. I personally prefer to feel like a dolphin if I can. So that's why I tan a little bit more. It balances out. So just don't exfoliate after you've tanned. Like for me, I like to exfoliate once a week, and that's before I tan, and it works out well. Do keep moisturized. It's really key for making your tan last longer. Dry skin, like I said, it flakes off a lot and it's gonna take your tan with it. So always moisturize. I like to moisturize every morning and night, and that helps so much with keeping your tan fresh. That said, don't use oils. You know how like when you were a kid, you put on a temporary tattoo, your mom would take it off with baby oil? That's because oil will take like anything off. That's why cleansing your face with oil is so good. It will take your tan off real fast. Like I use oil on my keratosis pilaris bumps, and my tan, if it does fade, it always fades right here, and that's not a cute look. So keep that in mind when you're using oil. You might have to lose your tan faster in those areas. But do keep moisturized with any kind of lotion or cream, and then you'll be good to go. And my last tip is just to kind of almost bring it back to the beginning with my little beauty philosophy. If you're going to tan, I think it should be for you. I think it should be because it makes you feel good. And so given that, I recommend like tanning your whole body, for instance. Like I have friends who are single and it's wintertime and they're like, I'm just gonna tan my face and my arms because nobody's seeing the rest. And that's totally fine if that works for you, but my personal advice would be like, do your whole body, because when you wake up the next morning glowy with this like ethereal goddess-like bronze happening, you're going to feel amazing, and that's what it's all about. It's just that confidence boost, in my opinion. Another person that you run into might not even be able to like put their finger on the fact that you tanned, but they will definitely be aware of the fact that you got this glowy confidence just radiating out of you because you just feel good, like you did something special for yourself. So in my opinion, you should tan your whole body, even your legs if nobody's seeing them. Even if your back is hard to reach, it's just worth it. It'll just make you feel that much better, and that's what this and all the beauty products and treatments that I love, that's what it's all about. So pamper yourself, and that could mean having a glowy tan all over if that's what you're so inclined. Those are all my tips and tricks. I really hope that helps you. A lot of you have been asking me one-on-one for tanning advice, so I was eager to get this out there for you. Sorry again for the delay. If you have any requests, any further questions, comments, hit me up on Instagram, leave a message down below. I always get back to you guys. I love getting to know you and interacting. And if you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do. It's a huge help to support my channel. It means so much to me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.